I stepped into, it was like a Bollywood for me. It was like a real Bollywood for me, with people who were always dressed proper, walked proper, talked proper. Because it was the first of a kind where the president of the country came and spoke on our platform. And he openly addressed our TAAI members.
It's a very big thing.
It's a very big thing, a country president coming for it. He actually, from the dais, named me 3 times, not even once. And he kept saying, because I was speaking about regional tourism, and he also endorsed the regional tourism, and he said, Jyoti, if you can do it, if you can come here, you can drive this on our behalf. I give you authority even from Sri Lanka side, you have it from India side, can we take regional tourism ahead? And then the minister, when he came for the roadshow next, they have actually named me Mother of Sri Lanka. It's everywhere. You know, it's not that I'm saying it, he's named me everywhere. I'm not talking about the names that I'm given, I'm talking about the relevance. Even the Prime Minister wanted to host us at his lunch, dinner. We had actually got the invite, but then something happened in the Prime Minister's house. So then we shifted it to a hotel. Otherwise, he was hosting it at his residence. And then, of course, the speaker and everyone came there. I need to give back to the society. And that's my only relevant passion about life, that I need to give back to society, or what I've earned, made, done from this industry. And they've done all. We've traveled the best of classes, we've stayed in the luxurious hotels, we've traveled in style, we have worked in style, we've seen the glorious days. So there was no competition, we have earned it all from here. Our president at that time said, Jyoti, I don't think the airlines are going to listen, because they are always been very authoritative and they like to get their work done. So I said, okay, if you don't mind, I would like to take that initiative forward, but before I go ahead, you are sure that you will be with me? I mean, you have to support me. We are, because from the both are the same side. So he said, yeah, I'm totally with you, don't worry about that. I went to the TAAI jail. And this DG was a friend of mine, and we were trained to skill. Today we are also skilling for Rashtrapati Bhavan. And when we went to skill we are the only one who's skilling. When we went to Rashtrapati Bhavan, unhone bola, our fathers have worked here, our grandfathers have worked here, our forefathers have worked here. That's the way it is done in Rashtrapati Bhavan. We said, fine, we will reskill you. They are so happy that we have reskilled them. They're saying, now we are seeing the world from a different point of view.
Afternoon, everybody. My name is Mukesh Jagga and I am from VENUE.EVENTS. Today, we have one of the very big industry stalwarts who started her career in 1982, and her name is Mrs. Jyoti Mayal. Afternoon, madam.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you on our platform, and thank you for giving us time. I have seen you when I started the industry, and along with your husband, Mr. Balbir Mayal, immense contribution by both of you as couples, and happy to have you people in the industry. Mrs. Jyoti Mayal has been awarded by the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Mr. Chiranjeev, by SATE as Shakti Award, and also by TAAI, which is a kind of competitor as TAAI, and it is an honor by somebody giving an award by the competitors of the same travel association as the powerful woman of the industry. So it obviously speaks volume, and that is why you have been awarded. I started in 1991. You came in a decade earlier. Your husband was a bit more earlier. There has been a sea change of the travel evolution which has happened. What would you like to describe what you saw when you came in? What were the stories at that time, and what is it today, and what is the way forward? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mukeshji. Thank you so much for getting me here. I think it's a pleasure indeed to be a part of this, and we've grown together.
Yes, that's right.
Because when I joined my husband in 82, I was, I think, just 22 years old. So it was like I was very, very young, not knowing about the travel industry also. And we've been growing together. Let me put it that way, because we've been out socializing, meeting, and those times were very different. I mean, the times, if you compare from today, those times, the youngsters may not agree, but I think those times were beautiful, because there was so much of, togetherness and so much more of commitment to each other that actually made your life much beautiful and easier. And that's something I always say. But yes, it's been a learning curve for me, because when I joined my husband, I was into the business of interiors. I was an interior designer. And then when I got married to him for many years, actually till 85, I was doing some part of travel, and most of the time I used to still do my furniture. And then when my daughter was born, that's my first child, I thought I should be giving more time to my own office, because of course I also couldn't give a 100% commitment anywhere. And that's how my journey began. And because I didn't know anything about the travel agent, I didn't even know travel agent exists. And it was like an eye opener for me, especially when I got married to Balveer. And we used to go around, and those times the airline used to do a lot of parties. There were a lot of parties from, every stakeholder. Could be hotels, could be airlines. And we being into we were the largest consolidators and the highly accredited, awarded travel agency of this country. And we were awarded by every airline coming or not coming into India. So I stepped into, it was like a Bollywood for me. It was like a real Bollywood for me, with people who were always dressed proper, walked proper, talked proper. It was something like, I think it was in many ways better than Bollywood also. And that was a real charm of this travel trade.
Yeah.
Yes, during the years it's evolved, it's changed. You can say a lot of things are for the better. Some things which are not for the better are that now it's more brick and mortar. People don't have emotions, people don't have feelings so much. They're absolutely into the business. We were more like friends, family, no competition, nothing with anyone. We've seen the change, and I said this earlier in another interview, that from blue ABC, red ABC, green ABC, we've gone to electronic. We've gone to GDSs. And I still remember the days when I stepped in, I said, I want to know my business well. And Balveer said, how would you want to know it? I said, I'll go and do a training. So I remember going to the Gulfware office, sitting with Mr. Kamal Hingorani, used to sit there, and I learned how to calculate fares. We used to multiply, the dollar was 7.28 at that time.
Yeah.
So those memories can never go away, because they've been a part of our growth. And the best thing I would say, okay, the business evolves, is like, I'm repeating it because those were it was really a golden era of working together.
Yeah.
I think that comes out very lot. Of course, the world changed for better in business in many ways, not better in emotions, let me put it that way, and I'm very clear about it. And then the GDSs came, and everything started getting electronic and online. And that we saw a huge change, because we were the largest consolidators. I still remember that when Interglobe came to me and they said, how many GDSs, how many computers do you need? Yeah. I said, no, 1 or 2. They said, there's something wrong with you. You are doing crores of business and you want 1 or 2, you'll be at least needing 10 or 12.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So they put 10 or 12, and I remember the first day it was put, my husband didn't let anyone touch the computer. He said, nahi, kharab ho jayega. Said, and the youngsters, my son, who was just around 8 years old, he walked into the plane and he says, can I use the computer? And Balveer said, no, you can't. And he said, kharab ho jayega, to fir kaun bharega paisa? So he said, Dad, let me do it. And he was just 8 years old. 2 minutes mein he came, he put on all the computers and started working on them. So, we've seen that change, we have grown up with it, but we've adapted to it. So even if we are from the old lot, we've adapted to the same, and that's how you and me are still sitting here in the industry and capable of doing much more. So that says for the tourism. Even tourism, when let me come down, when we started our business, the business was only ticketing.
Yeah.
I'm relating it to TAAI later, but I'm just talking, it was only ticketing. There was nothing about tourism.
Yeah.
We used to look for our relatives.
That was a separate breed, a separate travel tour operator.
No, वो भी नहीं होता था. If you remember in the old times, हम अपने रिश्तेदार ढूंढते थे. We used to look कि हमारे नानी कहाँ हैं, दादी कहाँ हैं, बुआ कहाँ हैं, उनके घर जाके रहते थे. Because we had never heard of staying in a hotel.
Yeah.
I remember my father used to go for a business, he used to get a hotel, but there also he used to make it a point to meet all relatives in that city or that country. And we also used to look for that कि मजा क्या है होटल में कमरे में रहने का जब तक सारे लोग इकट्ठे ना हो. And same started happening abroad. When we were traveling abroad, we used to look for our relatives because every foreign country was a new country for us. So we used to explore countries, but living in our relatives or friends' houses so that we get the best. So that is how the industry was. So that was only ticketing. And that is how I always feel TAAI was also evolved. Of course, we'll speak about TAAI when we go around. But that is what the associations were all about. There was no other association except TAAI when it started off.
Yeah, 1951 TAAI started.
Exactly.
And it's now almost 75
years.
75 years.
Yes, more than 75 actually, really 75 years, 1951. But the point is, TAAI has evolved.
Oh, no doubt about
No,
it.
yeah. So TAAI, when it started in 1951, I always say there were a few like-minded people who, like VENUE.EVENTS and all those senior people who started the TAAI association, thinking, okay, it's a travel association governed by IATA. IATA had a lot of relevance at that time.
Yeah.
Everyone, and they were very scared of the IATA. Investigator, what was he? Gilbert used to be there at that time. He used to just come to any office and find people that you're not going the right way.
Right.
That was IATA. People were scared. It was like it was like an institution by itself. People used to adhere to the ways of working, and that is how ticketing was the only really thing about that time. And we started it so that any member having any issues could go back to an association to ask for help. So that is how IATA, which today is still the oldest and the premier association, is surviving, because we have a very good past, and that is how we like to take it in the future.
Very lightly I am saying it, and this happened once or twice in just a evening drink over discussion, and one of the IATA agents, again very senior, he said, I am an IATA company. It is so dear. If my wife says me to divorce, I will sign the divorce papers, but I will not let my IATA go away. Because it was so important that
very prestigious.
Very prestigious to have it. There was a minimum norm you had to complete, people, staff also that way, stocks we all know. And any company if we went to, they used to say that, are you an IATA or not? Yeah. If you are an IATA, the entry is in, otherwise the admin would not allow you to meet their senior people, and few of these things. And one, I remember the quote of Subhash Verma ji, that our trade mainly was on credit, because the corporates were the one who were using it. And he used to say me at times that so easily I go and give the business class ticket or a first class ticket to my client, which is in lakhs, and then wait for my payment. But if my wife says me that buy something for me for 20,000, I'll say no. So small anecdotes which came up, and importance of TAAI was there, and then because all IATA
we were IATA members only.
IATA members.
It was for IATA members only. As a matter of fact,
consolidators were not allowed at that time.
No, consolidators were not. GSAs were not allowed.
GSAs were not allowed.
GSAs were not allowed. We never let any GSA become a member, because we used to feel that they are living on our business.
Right.
And they used to get over and above whatever business we were doing from that country. They were getting over and above the commissions, and that's why we never allowed for many years for GSAs to become a part of it. But time has evolved, time has changed, things are moving differently. Now, how much relevant is IATA today is also a question mark, because people are not doing their own ticketing.
Now there is IATA Lite. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Anybody can
people
do it.
People are not. They are not doing their own bookings. They are losing their own identity.
They can't do it anymore because the airlines have evolved. They say that do it from a consolidator than from an.
Actually, that's not what I agree with. Because I think till the time, I'm still fighting for it, and I keep telling my members that a lot, that everyone needs their own identity. If you hide, or if you go succumbed by someone else's identity, you have lost your identity. And in this world, I think we come to make our own identity as business people and as also human beings, because that's the way we are. If even a father puts his thumb on the son will retaliate one day to say, we are ourselves. I'm a human being myself. I can, I have my own mind. It's the same way I feel that, the agents should not, because of the change of time, because those times the airlines used to respect the business.
Yes.
Now the airlines are not respecting the agents, even if the business belongs to you, because you've lost your identity. So I think that switch is not very comfortable, and that's the reason TAAI also came out with a technology platform for its members during my tenure, to say how we can take it forward and how each and every member can actually have their own identity. So the only thing is the way of working has changed, but we need to bring back the importance and relevance in this. And this is why TAAI is the most premier body, that it should be working for its members to go ahead. And believe you me, in the last 5 years I have been there. Of course, 3 years went in COVID, and they were very, very challenging times for not only me but for everyone. Not only in the way of saying that you lost people, who were very dear to you, but there was a lost business. People had to close shop. A lot of them never revived back. A lot of people's business has still not come back.
They changed the business.
And the young ones have come in now to take over the business because they have gone through the COVID and they are willing to again get into this business. And there's an opportunity because of so many old members going away of ours. We've also seen that. We've actually, I think half of our members have literally gone, the old ones. And now we have the new members come in. But that is the change that has happened. And how we've gone forward on that, of course, I'll talk about it. But I think those are the changes we've seen in our own life. So it's like when people say last generation and generation last and now generation and the next generation, I think we've seen at least 5-6 generations come and go.
Yeah, and the evolution also from a manual to an online, and we have seen the success of MMT and the other ones, and kudos to them that they really thought of it.
Exactly. Of course.
And it's very good, and the young generation, I'm sure, will take it further. The one thing which I agree with you is that if there is no individual identity, then you cannot succeed.
Absolutely.
Because the client is not going to have any confidence
in you.
If I don't know the product, then he's not going to come to me. So this continuity, yes, the commissions have gone away, but I totally agree with you. Individual identity should not be lost. Nowadays, all the tourism boards, be it domestic or international, they are all coming to India or taking you, which is a very big privilege.
Absolutely.
And if anybody starts promoting one segment, he can make a good living and see the world also. Coming on that, I agree that TAAI has evolved. There are other associations also, the different arms like the domestic, inbound, adventure, TAFE came in. There are other more ones from the MICE segment point of view, but TAAI has been the number one. All the associations also got together and said that when we are representing to the government, there has to be one association, which is the faith in this case, is representing all of the other travel associations. How good have they been? What have they been able to achieve, and what is it that you feel that they should be doing more so that we have a bigger say in the government, especially on the finance part? The taxation compliances is a very big challenge for the MSMEs especially. So what would you like to say on that part?
See, Federation was formed basically for this only, because all national associations, not domestic or regional or chapter, but all national associations which have a national presence in all the cities, states, should get together to form one federation so that we can be a strong voice. And we realized that during COVID time that we really did work together. Because COVID time we were all sitting at home. The challenges were one to all. There was one challenge of COVID and how that we are not being supported by the government, and that's why we had one single voice, and we moved very beautifully. But went COVID and people started again segregating to their own niche markets.
What they knew.
So I think there's nothing wrong in getting into niche markets, because yes, like you rightly said, TAAI is a mother association, and I feel that because it was no other association. So, but to say that my members or the TAAI members are not in other niche markets, it's not true. But we should be utilizing the strength of faith for all of us. And that is what I think comes out very loud, and I say that loudly at every platform. Till the time all the presidents of all associations don't give up the I word and make it a we word, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's not about me and I, it's about we and us.
Yes.
So this is first that we need to change in our talks also. That when we are talking about issues or we are talking to the government, it should come as a collective thing, because it doesn't matter. If you are talking about taxes, it could be for anyone.
Yeah.
And even if you are in outbound or you are in inbound, it doesn't stop you from doing any conference, or it doesn't stop you from doing any adventure business. It doesn't stop you from doing any MICE. So when we are working in such different aspects of tourism, we should be talking in one voice. That's the first thing. Then I think going forward, which we've not realized, we are still talking only about advocacy or policies. There are a lot of things that the associations can do together which could be better for tomorrow's generation and for the present generation also. How about building, I said this in recent association convention recently, that why can't, as faith, we have a discounted rate of members, they can be a part of the entire faith associations than only one association. That gives me a edge with the entire world, that I can learn on MICE, I can learn on domestic tourism, I can learn on outbound, I can learn on whatever aspect.
Like a credit card. You buy anything, you accordingly, it's one card, so the same way faith.
Secondly, I would say now using that platform, we can come into joint technology. You know, we can actually get in technology. You know, the more it spreads out, more it becomes cheaper for the client. We can do joint marketing. We can do joint advertisements. We can have shared offices. You know, we can do so much more, because today the most important thing is data analysis. We need to do these things to say that we are into the correct business. We are transacting in the right format. So we can have a lot of shared issues working together between all the tenants. So I think there's a lot more that we can do once we start working together and go beyond associations, independent individual associations. Of course, whatever my association's core issues are can be taken up separately. That's okay. But the government knows when it comes to everyone, we will walk in together. That confidence,
that unity shows this
that confidence has to come into the government and other stakeholders. Because if we ask things for one voice, it will be a voice so strong that we'll get it all. But when we start saying that, oh, my members are into inbound, we want something, my members are into outbound, we want something, it becomes absolutely a broken association. And believe you me, the stakeholders or the government, they are the happiest, because they've learned the British rule, divide and rule.
Yeah, but I agree with you that when I was also the president and I had the same advocacy, that it's better to go as one association, like faith in this case, and say the word in one voice, because the individual, the government officer who is also sitting there, can understand what exactly the requirement of the trade is. If 10 people are going, he himself or the individual himself will be confused. So I totally that the one faith association should be moving forward. TAAI has also been doing one thing very good, and I have attended a few of them as a member also, is these conventions. You get a lot of knowledge when you travel over there, and you have done few of them. So any highlights of any convention you would like to just share across that?
Of course.
What was the highlight?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have annual conventions every year as a convention. And we also do road shows there for our industry partners, both sides. And we've always seen that the conventions in TAAI have always got the maximum representation from all the industry. Could be airlines, could be hotels, could be any aspect, and that's how we have to work together. We have to work together with all stakeholders. Not talking about other conventions, because everyone has done their own. My husband was the president, he did his own, which was talked of the town that time, because we got all the prominent people, the ministers there and everyone, because that was one in Calcutta. But talking about my tenure, I've done, because 3 years went in COVID, but we still got to do a Gujarat conclave. So we did a knowledge conclave, because the limit was 200 people, we still carried 220 people. It was an eye-opener, the way we did it. Even in that 1.5 day, which the government only supported us, we were able to have a full 2-day session with very prominent and relevant topics like ITA, tourism, technology, taxes. So I think this actually makes the members more updated on all the aspects of doing their business, because that is very important. This next one which I had was the first of a kind, which we did on the Royal Caribbean cruise. No association has ever done a convention on a cruise. It has its own challenges.
Icing on the cake.
Yeah, it has its own challenges, but it also has its drawbacks, because there are more people around. But we were still around, we were quite a few, we were 500 of us on that cruise. Then the last one which I had was in Sri Lanka, and it got postponed because of the political turmoil there. But we still managed to have it, and even in the turmoil period, they supported us and as TAAI as an association, and they told us to bring again 550 people, which we carried with us. It was the first again of a kind, because I'm emphasizing on that, because it was the first of a kind where the president of the country came and spoke on our platform. And he openly addressed our TAAI members.
It's a very big thing.
It's a very big thing, a country president coming for it. He actually, from the dais, named me 3 times, not even once. And he kept saying, because I was speaking about regional tourism, and he also endorsed the regional tourism, and he said, Jyoti, if you can do it, if you can come here, you can drive this on our behalf. I give you authority even from Sri Lanka side, you have it from India side, can we take regional tourism ahead? And then the minister, when he came for the roadshow next, they have actually named me Mother of Sri Lanka. It's everywhere. You know, it's not that I'm saying it, he's named me everywhere. I'm not talking about the names that I'm given, I'm talking about the relevance. I'm talking about the acknowledgement that we are working together. That is the best part about it. Even the Prime Minister wanted to host us at his lunch, dinner. We had actually got the invite, but then something happened in the Prime Minister's house. So then we shifted it to a hotel. Otherwise, he was hosting it at his residence. And then, of course, the speaker and everyone came there. But you see, that's the relevance of TAAI today. And that is what I think has made TAAI different. Because we are very, very vocal. And people do say that, and I've said this earlier also, that there are a lot of people from the industry who say, "Tum Jhansi ki Rani ho kya?" And I am a Jhansi ki Rani for my own members, for my own industry, because I've got nothing in my heart. I just want the betterment.
For the members.
Yeah, absolutely, for the members. And I feel I have earned it all when I met my husband when I was 19 years old. And after literally nearly 45 years, I'm here. I need to give back to the society. And that's my only relevant passion about life, that I need to give back to society of what I've earned, made, done from this industry. And we've done all. We've traveled the best of classes. We've stayed in the luxurious hotels. We've traveled in style. We have worked in style. We've seen the glorious days. So there was no competition. We have earned it all from here. So it's time for me to give back. And that's when I saw my husband beat TAAI, and he is the one who brought the bank guarantee insurance into TAAI,
insurance,
which was
very big thing.
It was very
big thing. It was not possible easily for the ordinary members.
Not at all. And when people used to come
especially who had come into the industry, for them it was 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 50 lakhs, depending on what the business is.
And
insurance is one of the best things which
that
has
happened.
Come. Yeah.
And when he came in, even the insurance companies didn't understand what they used to come and tell Balbir, क्या आपने किस चीज़ की इंश्योरेंस करानी है? तो ना घर है, ना कोई बिल्डिंग है, एक डॉक्यूमेंट की, वो भी ब्लैंक, टिकट्स पर ब्लैंक, वो कहते हैं इसकी क्या वैल्यू है?
गोदरेज का लॉकर लेना पड़ता था, 3 सिक्के जो,
और इतना स्टॉक पड़ा होता था, और सारी एयरलाइंस का, कोई BA का, कोई पैन एम का, कोई, और इतनी, और ब्लैंक, खाली, जीरो वैल्यू भी हो सकती थी और 10 लाख की वैल्यू भी हो सकती थी। फर्स्ट क्लास टिकट राउंड द वर्ल्ड वाज
हो गई अगर वो टिकट, तो पता नहीं जेब से कितने पैसे जाएंगे। इंडियन लाइंस रिफंड भी नहीं देती थी, टिकट पर ऊपर लिखा हुआ था नो रिफंड। चैलेंजेस कितने थे,
बहुत थे। सो इंश्योरेंस वाज अ वेरी बिग थिंग, एंड देन आई अंडरस्टूड दैट times have changed, times have evolved. So when Balbir was the president in 2005, things have changed again. And because it's evolved, I think it's time for me to come back and give back to the industry. Because I've grown in this industry, like I said, and I wanted to give back. And that's how my journey in TAAI started. Of course, we'll talk about it.
Every president of any association in his or her tenure would like to do the best. And because that's their limited tenure. Same way, I'll ask you that you would have achieved a lot of laurels down the line.
Yeah.
And it would not be known to most of us, because few things just go on an email. When you see it, you believe it. Otherwise, you don't come to know about it because of the daily workings of every. So what would you like to highlight that it is known to our members across the travel industry?
So I will start off that I've been in the, like I said, industry for many years. So I became the chairperson. So I was a chairperson for 2 tenures in Delhi. And that time I was given so much more work to do in Delhi, because every president wanted something to be done in Delhi, being the center of, the power center. And I realized that everything started coming to me saying, airlines, you take care. Government, you take care. And we had contacts, because we had the old contacts, we had our old relationships working with the entire machinery of travel tourism and the government. Of course, after my chairmanship, I had to move up, and I went in as a management committee member, and then I went to because that's the format we follow, and then I went to being the honorary secretary general, and then I became the president. I have been the president for the last 5 years. The moment I took up in 2019, I think God was waiting for me to take over. and I always feel हर चीज़ में कुछ ना कुछ उनका ही हाथ होता है. That COVID came, and I remember taking over my 28th November by my elections, and in January the world started locking up.
Right.
The first airline that went away was Japan Airlines, and then Japan closed borders. And I remember in March, I was sitting in the Ministry of Tourism, and the secretary told me the world is closing. I said, really? They said, yes, the world is closing. I said, okay, I can understand certain borders, but they convinced me. So I came back and I told my husband, the world is closing. So he, like a true professional, he said, I don't know when you learn your business. It can never close. Do you think the whole world will come to a standstill? I said, yes, that's what I've been told. He said, you listen to everyone and you believe them. I said, no, because I've also been trying to analyze the whole system. So he said, I can understand borders closing. That's like you have for political wars or whatever, and volcanoes or tsunami or something like that. But I can't understand the whole world closing and all borders closing. Anyway, it happened. And it came as a setback. So everyone started saying 1 week, 2 weeks. I said, no, it's going in for a long closure now.
Yeah.
And I kept telling our members it's going for a long closure. When this started happening, we were the first association actually to move to IATA and say to APJC to say, please, this is happening. They said, maybe, maybe not. We want you to protect our money, and whatever money now that you can hold on from the airlines, we wrote a letter to them officially, which was a very good step because, we were able to get every money. Then came, of course, like I said, the whole world closed. We went home. Yeah. We all had the same challenges. People falling sick, not even realizing what this is like. You couldn't go out. There was no food, no vegetables. The members started getting very demotivated.
Yeah.
Because the businesses started shutting.
Yeah.
And our business is such that firstly, because it closed down so hurriedly, a lot of money was blocked with different corporates, with clients. And then, of course, came no business. So the staff salaries became a huge burden.
No house burning for anybody.
Yeah. So the big people, players like hotels and all can still afford. So some of them didn't. Some of them still did. They actually asked a lot of people to leave. Airlines asked a lot of people to leave.
Yeah.
But we as travel agents, because we always live in a small world with small limited staff, most of us, and we don't want to actually, we also know that how is he going to eat. So it became a very big challenge of how do we do this. And then people didn't know where the world was going. So that is the time my fight really started. And that is the time that I actually left COVID literally thinking, okay, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I can't do anything about it. But I can't look at in a micro level only looking at my family and myself. I have to move forward to looking at the entire industry, which I feel is the family. I've grown up with them. There are no two ways about it. What you said, we go back so long. My relationship today with all the old ones is like it was from all these years.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy them. I enjoy their company. And that's how we really started working. We started doing a lot of knowledge sessions. We started tying up with a lot of countries, a lot of states. We still started doing a lot of skilling online, so that the whole industry is involved. Of course, simultaneously, our fight and like a war started with the government to start saying, please support us. I understand India is a huge country. We have a huge population. They have to look at a lot of other things. Travel and tourism is like a luxury for them. They don't want to invest. But we were heard. At least we were heard the whole time. And that's the time the prominence came in, because we became the face of the industry. And you won't believe it, but in that 2 years, I think I did more than 2,500 webinars.
Okay.
And the amount of webinars I did was like
morning to evening.
Morning to evening, and so many of them like that every day. And we also did we did a online convention.
Right.
So that we had all members so we got the ministers, we got UNWTO. It was the first time an IATA chief came on board.
Right.
Because those were the things that brought us together also. Because technology made the world smaller, and we could actually interact with anyone. So it was not only in India that I started speaking. I started speaking to all our trade and our industry partners. Could be in America, could be in Canada, could be in Australia, because they all wanted to hear what we were doing for our members, what are we doing. So it was a huge learning for me, but to keep the entire industry afloat. And actually, if you believe me, if there was no technology, we all would have been dead. Actually, if you're speaking, because we would be in the four walls, not doing and interacting with anyone, not knowing what is going around. So I think technology was a huge boon.
Yes.
It was a huge boon to us. It brought the world smaller. And of course, after all that fighting, we fought tooth and nail for our refunds. I can very proudly say today that not one member can stand up and say that he had approached me, TAAI or non-TAAI member, and I did not help him for any refund. Any refund could be airlines, could be hotels, could be stakeholders. I didn't even know the passengers who started calling me up. That's how it started. Then of course when it started opening, there were a lot of health protocols. There were a lot of border issues, lot of visa issues. We actually fought all of them to move forward. And then, like I said, before the second phase came in, because the second phase was much more critical than the first one, we also took our 220 members to a convention where we gave them knowledge, and they also had the strength and the thing that they want to come out, because people were fed up of sitting inside. So I think, and then that is what I keep saying, that TAAI is a platform where you learn a lot. So even in that time, the 220 people and then the videos going out, we told them how to go forward, how to move forward. And that's actually, Katina, it's like a huge gem that actually we impart to our members to say how do we go forward. A lot of people ask us, आप convention करते हैं, बाहर करते हैं, आप इंडिया में कम करते हैं, या fam trips करते हैं, why do you do this? I always bring this to this, that unless we do conventions or unless we do these fam trips, and it has happened, we've also learned and seen the world, and because we've seen the world, we sell it more, and that is what we do. So when we go outside for our conventions, we make them connect to the agents of that country and other countries. So you know the face of your stakeholder. And that is how we have done business, and that is the opportunity we give our members to say, go out, meet people, learn, come and sell, and your business keeps growing. And that is what happens. It keeps growing. And I remember when I was very active in the business, and initially there were only FAMs going from all the airlines, and we were invited to every airline. They only wanted the owners to go or the CEO levels to go. And they only had one person going. And it was always because Balbir was there, I used to tell Balbir, you aap jao. And I had small children also at that time. And one day, he must have gone to maybe just one or two, and he came back and he told all the airlines, listen, from the third one, I'm not going anywhere without my wife. Because if she's also working, she's also supporting me, she also needs to travel with me, and we have this that she's not going to travel without me. You won't believe it. Lufthansa was the first person to say that, okay, we are starting couple fams. And that's how couple fams came into the industry. It was absolutely the insistence of Balbir, because they wanted, we were the top sellers, they wanted us, and Balbir said, I will not go, you can take anyone else from my office, a staff, the manager, anyone, I will not go. And that's how the couple fams came, and it was an eye-opener, because even I was very young, 19, so I hadn't seen the world, but I started seeing the world. And when I came back with many more ideas, how to sell, how to make your brochures, how to put in the pictures, even small things like that, and your learning grows. So I think the FAMs, convention, conferences, knowledge conclaves are a huge source of knowledge which need to be imparted.
I agree with you, because see, if we don't go there, what do we sell to our client?
Absolutely.
If we have not seen it. So it's for the even younger generation, which I would like to say, because our age generations know it by experience. Going on a fam trip doesn't mean just enjoying.
No, it doesn't.
It is more that you are even studying there. And if you do your homework very nicely, because you can't easily go there again and again, you will always grow in business.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is what, then I come back to your point, individual knowledge and your identity comes into place if you are really learning it.
Absolutely.
And also I would like to correlate one thing, that when I was hearing you, TAAI did the right thing quietly and silently. That is why they chose you as the
TAAI.
No, the powerful woman.
Woman, okay. TAAI, of course.
TAAI, because
it's very creditable.
Your tenure as a president, I believe, was one of the toughest ones because of the COVID part.
Absolutely.
Nobody knows where to go, and it is only the leader who can guide everybody where to go.
Absolutely.
And the technology helped everybody, which was a bane when this technology came in, because the business which, I'll give you my example. I used to do a lot of cement business. when I started the business, somebody of my friends knew the seaman. He was working in a seaman company, so he said there is a company based in Hong Kong which is operating with 90 ships, and they want the smallest travel agent in Delhi to do their ticketing business. So I asked them that when they are such big, why are they asking me to do it? He said, because the owner says that the newest baby in the world in the travel trade
will give you the best service.
Will give the best service. And believe me, they made me run up and down. I didn't have the ticketing stock. Interglobe, I used to get the Uniglobe at that time. So I used to go from my office in South Delhi to CP.
I've also done a lot of ticketing for you.
Yes. So it was a tough time. And yes, what is it that now the elections which are coming up in TAAI, as a president you have worked, and then now you are as a contestant.
So I will just, before I come to the elections that are coming, and I'll also like to state a few things that we did during COVID time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes some members get it on a platter and they don't realize who's really worked for it. Like I said, challenging times were for everyone. Every day in the morning, used to hear someone is no more in this world. I used to feel scared in the night when there was the phone call saying, oh, something has happened.
Yeah.
It was a great fear in everyone's mind because families and suffering. But believe you me, beyond this, when the world started opening, then also there were a lot of issues that started off in this industry. I will say the first thing that came in, of course, like I said, the borders opening, even the government didn't know how to react because they have never seen COVID also.
Nobody had seen.
Nobody had seen. So what protocols to bring in? What health protocols to bring in? The airlines used to start, cancel. So there were a lot of challenges that started coming in. Then the repatriation flights. I worked on so many repatriation flights what people were stuck in our country.
Yeah.
And they used to call me up, I don't have any money. My phone is also now dying. I'm calling from a booth. I've borrowed some money. I'm stuck in this and this place. Can you help me? This was all that they used to call. We got your number from the website. We got your number from your something. They used to tell me. And believe you me, I could have easily turned around and said, you're not my TAAI member. It's not like that.
No.
You are human first.
Yeah,
you're an industry first.
Yeah.
And that is what I believe in. So we started working towards the entire industry, not only the TAAI members. So refunds was one thing, business was one thing, opening was one thing.
Nobody was giving credit.
Credit,
You had to put money.
Credit came much later. Before that came that, when people starting money, airlines started going direct.
Right.
The first airline that came was Lufthansa, and they said, we are not going to come into the GDS, which everyone knows that's the way we do our ticketing and booking. So if they are going to go direct, that means we've lost the business to ourselves.
Right, yeah.
Same, Air India started that. All the airlines started this. I had to literally fight. I went to Hardeep Singh Puri, who was the minister then, and said, sir, you have to listen to me. He said, Jyoti, I can't do it. Then I went to Air India. He said, that doesn't come in my purview. So I said, what does come in your purview? He said, तुम्हारी flights opening, तुम्हारा ये मैं तब भी तुम्हें help कर रहा. And he was very helpful. Let me say that he was very helpful. I'm saying it here. The tourism minister, I used to every day chew his brains. He told me, रात को मेरे को उन्होंने 2 बजे फोन कराया कि तुम सुबह 9 बजे पहुंच जाना मिस्टर पुरी के, मैं तुम्हारे साथ जाऊंगा because you fight for it. And he used to tell me, before we used to switch off a virtual meeting, he used to say, Jyoti ji, आप मत बोलिएगा, मेरे को पता है आपकी क्या demand है. Because I used to ask for refunds, I used to ask for money protection, I used to ask for, support. He said, but we'll go together. And I got a ministry, and we 3 women, 2 women from the ministry, who was the DG, and I went personally with the minister, taking us to Mr. Puri to sort out a lot of issues. Then, of course, when they stopped coming on the GDS, the business started going. So all the GDS companies, all the stakeholders, all the consolidators started calling me up to say, the airlines are going, they are going direct. Hamara kya hoga? Hamara kya hoga? I again stood in the foray, went to Air India. I said, you cannot do it. I said, you just cannot do it. Again, of course, it was my relationship, of course, but it was how I convinced them. And they came back on the GDSs. So I think there was a lot of work that went into beyond government advocacy, that we are here today where we are. Yeah. We are still doing business. Then, I'll tell you a very interesting thing. We've had IATA and APJC since years. APJC was always been there, and I mean 30 years I've also seen it. And there are airlines participating and we are travel agents participating. It's a common platform where we are seven members of each. So between TAAI and TAFE we have 7, and airlines they are 7. Whoever comes first they are inducted, and others can come in as observers. So we have a very active APJC meeting where we keep fighting our issues. So we were fighting our refunds there, we were having our meetings there. And one day I just said, I've been working in this industry for years. My personal relationship, because we were the consolidator, and my personal rapport and Balbir's personal rapport has always been very good with everyone. So we had a lot of friends from the industry, and if I had anything or if I called up on behalf of anything, the work was done. But that is not the end thing. I have to help beyond the people. So I went up to APJC and I said, excuse me, you as Air India, being the national carrier, have always been the chairman of APJC. But now, today, with the change of world, after COVID, we are working as one. You need my business? Definitely. I need your help to grow my business back, because COVID came, it's gone. And, why should only an airline be the chairperson? So they said, no, it's never happened. It's never happened. I said, no, it has to happen. Our partnership, our synergy needs to work together. So I asked our TAFE, our dear friends, and our president at that time said, Jyoti, I don't think the airlines are going to listen, because they are always been very authoritative and they like to get their work done. So I said, okay, if you don't mind, I would like to take that initiative forward. But before I go ahead, you are sure that you will be with me? I mean, you have to support me. We are, because from the both of the same side. So he said, yeah, I'm totally with you. Don't worry about that. So I said, okay, fine. I had got into a lockdown in London. I was sitting in London. I called up all the 7 airlines sitting on the platform, and I said, I want to I want to change. They said, yeah, we heard about it. So I said, yeah, so I want to change. So they said, who wants to come in? So I said, I want to come in. So they said, if it's you, we are okay with it. These were the exact words. As if it's you, we are okay with it. I said, are you sure? I said, yes. One airline said, my head office doesn't allow it, but because it's like total veto, I will abstain so that you get the vote. It was a very good move. It was put up, and as a matter, a lot of airline heads said, if you think the person representing us will not vote for you, if you feel so, if you want, I can also come, because it's my vote after all. So, but anyway, my rapport with everyone was good. They voted. And I created history by becoming the first chairperson of APJC.
Right. So
this is where today ITA is, that anything what we talk, okay, then the only thing that they said is, can we, because we have never seen we don't want airlines to be on the heavier side, so can we alternate being the alternate chair? I said, that's a perfect thing, because I am not believing in domination. I believe in synergies. Right. And that is what I feel we all should be doing to grow this business. And we today are doing that very effectively. Anything I say or anything they say, there is no like you, me. It is like, okay, we have to do this for the industry. And the airlines are also talking in our terms. Yes, some airlines don't get into it, that's a different issue. And we are still working towards it. The airlines are trying to convince the airlines, because they can't do it openly because of the competition law. But they are unofficially helping us. So all that makes a lot of difference for the industry. And then that's what I say. Life is a learning curve. I'm also learning. I also feel that, we need to work together, more together, how together to build this industry. And that is what I've continued to do. So we've done a lot of that. And one more thing that I've done is that during COVID time, I also became the chair of the Tourism and Hospitality Skill Council.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very important aspect.
It's very important. And you see today, the budget that came out for this year is only focusing on jobs and jobs creation. And the maximum jobs that are going to be driven is in tourism sector. So I also started, so this is a government body under the Ministry of Skill Development. We actually are statutory bodies, NCVT and NSDC, but that's the Skill Council. So we are the only sector skill council under the Ministry of Skill Development. So I had 36 governing bodies, and all from all the affluent chains, business, CEOs, chairmen sitting. And I was appointed as the president there, and I worked very closely. Today we are we skilled 2 lakh people last year. This is under the Pradhan Mantri Yojana, and this year our thing is that we'll be skilling nearly 5 lakh people.
That's from all spheres, or is
all
it
tourism and hospitality?
All tourism.
So we are skilling. and we are also getting them jobs. We are holding job melas. As a matter of fact, Ministry of Tourism, and you have worked with the Ministry of Tourism very closely, have a very stringent way of getting agents to be recognized on the travel portal.
Yeah.
That's something, again, I fought with the Ministry of Tourism to say, you need to include every stakeholder.
Yeah.
And especially our 10 members are members of the 10 associations.
Yeah.
Because if you are recognizing us, you need to recognize our members. So we've got to make the forms much lower, much easier to fill. Now I'm also working, this is the first time again I've created history of signing a MOU between Ministry of Tourism and THSC to skill together.
Right.
I have to skill 1 lakh people this year so that they can work in all our industries, all our office businesses, and we get accreditation easier.
So how does this work that the members be it of any association, do we go on to the TAAI portal or any skill
This is
development?
Tourism and Hospitality Skill Council.
So no, but where do we find out the people if I want to select 5 people in my office? From where would I get those names, etc.?
So we have a website.
Of TAAI only or only
THSC,
of THSC?
But my photos are both places, so people do relate easily.
Yeah.
And now we are also working with the government because the Incredible India website is going to be coming out very soon. So everyone who's recognized by us and by the Ministry of Tourism, all the names will be on the website.
And would they also entail that what kind of a field those students want to go into?
Yes.
Because we have got so many different.
Yeah, of course.
So then we
are
can
skilling.
Choose.
I'm also skilling with states in Gujarat, in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu. Actually, every state, in Uttarakhand. In Uttarakhand, we've done for adventure recently. Somewhere else, we are doing for cruises. Somewhere else, we are doing for looking at the state. So we are skilling at every state. And also, it was my initiative that actually we got tourism into the CBSE and books of India.
Okay.
So I worked with the Minister of Skill Development. He's also the Minister and Secretary of Education. I told him this has to start very young. Why do you want to waste a person's life? What is the value of graduation, undergraduation today in our country? Nothing. BA, MA, kuch nahi hai. They are still working as call centers.
Yeah.
So let them take that choice right in the beginning when they are doing economics, then they're doing science. Let them take tourism as a career. And now I'm working with 22 states already in India where the government schools have adopted it.
Okay. One more question on the skill part. How long is this training which is being imparted to them?
So it depends on the course you're wanting to do. So when COVID came in, we had 240 capsules of training. Let me put it in the easier format. But when I took over, I realized that 240 are redundant. Because what they are teaching there is also not possible. So when a person comes to my office, I don't want him for a job. Or the type of a business has also moved on. So we actually did away with all the 240. We did a very brave step saying हमारे पास आज कुछ नहीं है. But very quickly we came out with the 60 capsules of learning, which today are recognized by the Ministry of Skill Development, also by Ministry of Tourism, and we can train in under those. Because those are relevant today for the tourism. And those 60 are long-term courses, 3-month courses, and we are doing apprenticeship courses, which are the shortest courses, but people get jobs immediately. We have just trained around 200 people for even Indigo, some 200 people for ITC, for Taj Hotels, for Radisson, Lemon Tree, because we are doing short-term courses where they can quickly get a job. I'll tell you another thing which I did, which is very interesting. This is, I skilled. I went to the TAAI jail.
Okay.
And this DG was a friend of mine. And we were trained to skill. Today we are also skilling for Rashtrapati Bhavan.
Okay.
And when we went to skill we are the only one who's skilling. When we went to Rashtrapati Bhavan, unhone bola, our fathers have worked here, our grandfathers have worked here, our forefathers have worked here. That's the way it is done in Rashtrapati Bhavan. We said, fine, we will reskill you. They are so happy that we have reskilled them. They're saying, now we are seeing the world from a different point of view. I went to TAAI jail and I saw these young children who were the first time offenders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, जिन्होंने कोई theft किया होगा, small petty thing, but they are all in jail. कोई उनको निकालने वाला नहीं है. So it was very sad, very. And उनका case वो 2-2 साल से बैठे हुए अंदर. You are actually turning them into a convict, if you ask me. So we said, why can't we, while they are here and they have to earn their money because उनको ground में काम करना पड़ता है, पैसे मिलते हैं उसके हिसाब से, जो वो जब जाते हैं उनको पैसा मिल जाता है. So I said, let's start skilling them so that when they go out, they at least have a job. So we started skilling them in hospitality.
Right.
And we said any course. They said we want to do hospitality because travel में हमको बहुत सीखना पड़ेगा, but tourism hospitality they were very happy with. You won't believe it. I've skilled 300 people in TAAI jail. I've already got jobs for them. There was a judge who was working with us, and of course Mr. Puri gave us money to do that. And we are just waiting for them to get a sanction to that they can go on a payroll. So you go from the jail, go to the hotel, work and come back. And it's like you're going from home, coming back from home. And I always say, when you are looking for a person or the hotels are looking for a person, they are doing your background check. इनका बैकग्राउंड चेक तो पूरा गड़बड़ है ही नहीं, उनके पास है ही, पुलिस के पास ही है सारा,
पुलिस के पास है,
तो उनको फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता क्योंकि जो चेक एंड वी डोंट नो जो कल हमारे लिए काम कर रहा है कल किसी का मर्डर कर देगा या चोरी करेगा, हमें तो नहीं पता ना. वो तो हम बैकग्राउंड चेक कराते हैं, हाउ इज ही लाइक अ पर्सन. इनका टोटल बैकग्राउंड चेक तो पुलिस के पास है ही, तो दे आर द सेफेस्ट पर्सन टू कीप, and we are not keeping criminals, we are keeping people who are actually smart. So I think these things are things which have continued to do in COVID and beyond COVID.
This is a very big social work, what you are doing.
As TAAI also, I skilled 25 women. I took them from absolutely the root, absolutely from the ground, who had just 6वीं pass, 8वीं pass, 10वीं pass, and we trained those 25 people in Lucknow. We got all 25 a job within a week.
स्किल डेवलपमेंट पर ही जैसे हम बात कर रहे हैं, तो क्या ये जब हम सर्टिफिकेट्स MOT से हमें चाहिए होता है, बिकॉज यू नीड स्टाफ,
so that is what we are trying to overcome.
Yes, so is that included at this stage or it is still
no, we've already started skilling. We've already skilled 10,000 people. And we are going to be skilling more.
Yeah, but their certificates are valid.
Their certificate be valid.
That is the most critical
that is the
part.
reason I started.
Yeah.
That is the reason I started. कि my members, and I've been advocating to my members, please register. मैम बहुत सारे staff चाहिए, IHM के चाहिए, हम कहाँ से ले लें? That is the reason I started. Because see, I cannot help one or two people only and say, चलो मैं आपका तो करा दूंगी. I have to look at the overall picture where each and everyone benefited. But sometimes the members don't realize that who's worked behind. Now I'm not talking every day saying I've done this, I've done that. I've done so much of skilling. I've opened the doors for MOT. I've opened the doors for the missions. I go and fight. I went to meet when जब हमारी country खुल रही थी, I was half the day sitting at the Ministry of External Affairs, fighting with the secretary कि please हमारे Schengen visa शुरू करा दो, अमेरिका का visa शुरू करा दो. See, people are only talking when it comes to as a problem, but we started working much in advance. And I'm sorry, but the way it is that I am in Delhi, so the whole thing is here. I have direct access to everyone, which is a game changer for our industry.
No, it is a very big game changer. I see two things in you since few decades back, and even today it is the same way. One is your vigor, one is your
Josh.
And now, though you have spent in already few years as TAAI president, and I believe you are the second lady to be the TAAI president.
The first was Neeraj Ghai.
The first was Neeraj. She also.
Sita.
Very respected. वो तो kind of first family है हमारे लिए in the travel trade में. तो now again the elections are coming in shortly. What is your vision?
So I'll just say something that tourism is an ongoing business industry. We do get setbacks off and on, but I think it's a growing industry. We know where as India grows to a third largest economy in the world, we know where we are growing. We see the infrastructure so good, so everything is evolving, and as we evolve, challenges are going to keep coming. So I have a vision, and I don't mean to say that ये तो evolve कर रहा है, so I should be on this chair always. That's the first thing that comes out. For me, it is only like I want to give back to the industry. First I must tell you my mind. The reason I stood up for this term was because 3 years went in COVID, behind the walls. I had to actually complete and do a lot of challenging work, which I never knew would come onto my lap.
That was not part of my portfolio.
Yeah. So when those 3 years finished, it was mutually decided between our house that we should continue for another 2 terms. Of course, people change their mind, people have different aspects, the people want new people want old people, all that keeps coming. But the point is, I feel that if I have committed and if I have done what people think I've done, they should anyway support me for the next coming year, because my work is not finished, because I had certain things in mind. Like I said, we got onto the APJC chair.
Yeah.
That was something which I wanted to do, I've converted. But how do I make the industry totally independent of saying that ITA cannot dominate us or the airlines don't dominate us? Because that's my first thing, that they cannot. And I see that because with APJC, now we've also got, I worked towards it, that now that we used to talk about, like you just said in the beginning, that TAAI went or certain airlines went, the international ones, our money got blocked. But with this, we have seen to it that now 45 days of money will be lying in escrow account with ITA, so that even any airline goes, that 45 days money is there to pay back.
Yeah.
So that's a huge achievement.
No, otherwise it is always the travel agents who have been putting from their own pockets.
So this is something I have been able to achieve with ITA, and that is why I said communication doors and APG got me. Now, but we are still struggling with something which is, like low cost airlines going.
Yeah.
And we are not saying that airlines are going, we are now doubting them. But it's the same thing like saying, if the airlines can doubt us, then we have the full opportunity to doubt them, and also have the privilege to doubt them. Because our money is still very small, their money is so huge. So if they go, they kill the industry. If we go, we only kill ourselves, if you ask me.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we are the smallest baby actually.
And the airlines can still survive. So how many airlines have closed down because of an agent going default? None. But we have closed down because Kingfisher went, Jet Airways gone, Modi Luft went, and you don't know how many, Go Air went. So we don't know how many airlines. So that is something I'm working very, very closely with the government, that how do we bring in insurance for the low cost airlines. That is something which the work is already in progress.
Right.
I need to complete that. So that's the first thing. TCS is something which I kept delaying for 3 years.
Right.
Entire last 5 years I've got it delayed. They've always wanted to come in. So first it was no 5%, when 5% came in, I said no 20%. But the government has its own views, and I could still delay it till October last year. I'm still working for it, because I know there's a scope to get it either removed or lowered, and I'm working towards removal. And that is what I plan to do.
Or even a standardized system can also be tried to work on.
So I'm also working with the government to say how technology can take all this over, instead of we becoming the tax collectors for them.
Yeah, and for a small MSME company, it is not possible.
Even MSME, in my thing, we all knew we were MSMEs or SMEs, but no one got registered. We during COVID time got them registered, and we said there are a lot of opportunities, and we brought those opportunities in front. The same way, we are working with the government to say, firstly, a technology platform to collect all the taxes automatically. So if you have a GST, it goes in directly. We don't have to go and file for it. We don't have to be responsible for it. Same way TCS, the client is paying, but we need to have a technology platform. So that's another thing which I'm working on very strongly. I'm also working with a lot of countries to see, at least the regional countries, to say how a global tourism fund can come up. And that global tourism fund is going to be like another thing, like a geopolitical war or something like that, or another COVID, will have money in it to actually sustain our existence. If the government can't help us, then there is money in that existence.
So if I may ask on this, this is something very new what you are talking, and very interesting also. The global tourism fund, is it from the only tourism, that is the hotels point of view, or even from the airline point of view?
Sorry, I'm a TAAI member first.
Yeah,
so I talk about my agents, because for me, the existence of a smaller agent is much more important than the larger one.
Right.
And he has to exist more in this world of competition and technology changing every day. So that is why I want to bring it to the forward, that I'm working on regions, the regions close by who we can do business with, and certain regions beyond. Because I don't know if you remember, but we went to Almaty, 73 of us as a conclave. I got the Almaty flight started. I got the Cambodia flight started. So I'm working with a lot of countries to say, let's give you an example, because I don't want to bring it right now, because the government is still working on it. But suppose the taxes they collect from you, like the airport tax, okay? Out of the airport tax, everyone who goes to the airport, the tax is charged by the airline. So we know that person has traveled when he's traveled, okay? It's not something that I bought and refunded it. That percentage or whatever it is, they are collecting as airport tax, out of which even if 0.05 comes into our kitty,
right,
it's a huge kitty.
It's a huge amount.
So we are working on those things with the government, And that is something I want my vision to be completed, because I feel I will be leaving an industry as a very secure industry, where you have your insurance, you have already got the ITA, you have skilling happening, you have missions already, talking to you on a better platform through the missions and through VFS and BLS and all the other all the insurance policy. So skilling has come in, global funds have come in, taxes have come in. So these are just, the points are just a few, but it needs some time to finish that.
Your points are all thinking out of the blue.
Yeah.
And it's very inspiring for me also. Yes, you are my senior.
No.
And I have also learned a lot while discussing with you and interviewing you, that what more can be achieved, and the vigor and the strength, and you're doing a fantastic job. Would like to say thank you very much.
No, it's thank you for you to hear me out so patiently, because I get very passionate when I talk about travel and tourism, because I think it's in my blood, and whatever I do in life, and that's what I also tell the entrepreneurs coming in, do whatever you do it with passion. There is success always. And I feel that associations and member of the association should always support a person who can deliver. Firstly. Secondly, I also feel that Delhi is the ball game. The government. Today we cannot work without the government. Older times,
Delhi is the center
maybe
place.
You could. And I know when I'm saying this just because when I became the president, it's a very small thing. When I became the president, my first meeting with the Ministry of Tourism was within the next 1 week. And I used to anyway go because I was a Secretary General, and so I walked in, and the entire people who were sitting, they started clapping and saying congratulations. The secretary then turned, she says, क्या हो गया? क्या मुबारक दे रहे हो? क्या हो गया? इसकी बेटी की शादी हो गई, कुछ हुआ? So they said, no ma'am, you don't know, secretary, you don't know that she's become the president. So she said, really? But I always thought she was the president.
Okay.
That is the center. We are talking about the center, and that is the importance of center.
And even when you are sitting in Delhi, as you rightly said, I also agree with one thing, that what happens is that all of a sudden the meetings come up.
Yes.
You have to be present. The association has to be present over there. Otherwise, things might not work out. Good or bad, this is how it is. This is how it is. You can't do
I only feel that the work I've started, and I've worked very hard for 5 years. Actually, I gave my family the least preference in those 3 years, and I supported the world as a family. I even got Shri to motivate everyone. I said, come on, please motivate and talk about tourism. And he spoke about it. So I'm just saying, in every way I kept them. I need to just finish what I had started with, that this is what I want the industry going. I know the pain points of the industry more than anyone else, because I'm very active in business. We've been the largest consolidators. I do hotels, I do events, I do conferencing. I know where the pain points are. And beyond these three, there is a new challenge every day, which also you have to take. And you give up everything. I go for a holiday, my children tell me, Mom, you're always on the phone. I said, yeah, that's what it is. If I'm giving to the industry, I have to give it.
You are actually the leader. So if you are the torch leader, then you have to take up the calls, and everybody is a child for you.
Otherwise, wow, I don't need this chair. You know me since years. I was the largest,
Consolidator.
No, not a consolidator, but largest rewarded by everyone. People recognized us. It's not that people have started recognizing us today. They have, and because of my old strengths is something what I'm driving. And that is all what I'm saying. So when people stand up, I think members should stand up to say that who they want to vote for, which is very important, themselves. And there are going to be challenges, there are going to be new presidents coming in. I think the new young minds should also come in to take it forward. But they need to learn a lot, because today someone who's coming in doesn't know what we had in the past. They're only building on the future. You have to learn from the past to actually build a future. And that is what every youngster, we tell our children also the same thing at home. कि जो हमने स्ट्रगल किया, जो हमारे पेरेंट्स ने स्ट्रगल किया पार्टीशन के टाइम, वही है जो हम आपको सिखा रहे हैं, जो आप आगे कर पा रहे हो, because you have that strength and the ability to take forward. Another thing which my members keep saying very often is commissions. Of course, commissions have gone, they've accepted it. And a lot of members still say we don't want commissions. But I still got Air India to come back on even that 1%, or the Indigo to stay at that 1%. We are telling them, because the day they get an opportunity, believe you me, they'll be the first person to go directly, finish the commissions. And if you don't have the strength, come anyone. And I literally say that, come anyone, no one can stop them. I am also having a struggle to stop them. Because technology is taken.
reason.
NDC is going to come
NDC.
over. We are going to be out. How we manipulate that? That's the reason I started NextTAAI, a technology platform, so that we make TAAI the largest consortium of doing business, so that every person doing business owned by TAAI, and it will not be owned by anyone private, it will be owned by TAAI, to have TAAI people or the future presidents to take over, that everyone gets commission, everyone gets something you pay that you get in return when you're doing business. I tell the government also, we are collecting taxes for you, give me at least 0.5%.
Yeah.
Why not?
This actually should be there.
Yeah.
How do I otherwise pay my salaries on behalf of the government?
Exactly. So these are the things which I'm working on. There are quite a few of them, but of course, the largest comes out very loud that I need to protect my members and say that their money is safe, their business is safe. And I'm working on a lot of stakeholders to say we give back. Even with VFS, BLS, I'm saying you need to give back to the industry.
Yeah.
And we are working on loyalty cards. It's already in process. Maybe if the elections were delayed by a month, it would have been launched this month. But now we'll do it after the elections.
Chalo. All I would like to say is the travel industry is very beautiful. Most of us, I would put it this way, come in from very humble background.
Yeah, of course.
In our much younger days, we used to say, कभी हम वर्ल्ड में एक कोने पे जो कि बेस्ट ऑफ द डेस्टिनेशंस हैं, स्विट्ज़रलैंड हो, चाहे अमेरिका हो, ऑस्ट्रेलिया हो, विद इन इंडिया, मध्य प्रदेश हो, कश्मीर हो, क्या कभी देख पाएंगे? एंड व्हेन आई यूज्ड टू लुक एट माय पेरेंट्स, माय आंसर वाज नो.
True.
सिंपल रीज़न, लाइफ वाज वेरी सिंपल. मनी लोगों की जेब में नहीं थी. वो अपने ब्रदर्स, सिस्टर्स और बच्चों की शादी करने में ही और घर बनाने में ही ज़िंदगी निकल जाती थी.
ठीक कह रहे हो.
लेकिन इस इंडस्ट्री को जब हम मोस्ट ऑफ अस ने चुना, वॉज पैशन, बैच, एंड अदर थिंग वॉज कि भाई अगर दुनिया देखनी है और पैसे हैं नहीं तो करोगे क्या?
बिल्कुल.
या तो नौकरी करो एयरलाइन में, अगर खाने का शौक है तो किसी रेस्टोरेंट में कर लो या होटल में कर लो, और अगर दुनिया घूमनी है तो ट्रैवल एजेंट बन जाओ. एंड ऑनेस्टली आज इस चीज़ का प्राइड होता है, और कई बार हम अपने आपस में सभी कहते हुए हैं कि जितनी बारी हवाई जहाज में चढ़े और उतरे या ट्रेन में भी, शायद अच्छे से अच्छे लोग भी उस लेवल से, उस तरीके से नहीं देख पाए होंगे उस जगह को जो कि इंडस्ट्री में है.
Absolutely.
So for the younger generation, I feel that if it is in your passion and blood, do join in. Challenges will come. और मैडम से तो आज कुछ इतना कुछ सीखने को मिला जो कि लगता है कि अभी तक हमने कुछ सीखा ही नहीं है. तो do not lose heart and keep on coming in the industry. Do a good job, skill development करो. जितनी नॉलेज पाओगे उतना ग्रो करोगे. थैंक यू मैडम वेरी मच, एंड आई विश यू द बेस्ट ऑफ लक फॉर द अपकमिंग इलेक्शंस एंड योर टीम. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you so much.